It'll be a great asset to our city. The one problem the city must face.
Just 1 second.
Because it's public testimony and we're not sure everybody was here
Have
this
you-
morning,
Have you,
I
did you
have.
raise your hand?
I did.
and they leave their name and address for the record clearly.
I will do there.
Well,
Are you going to state at 15 South Gulfview Road, 701, Lake Worth, Florida?
Good.
Are we
You're
there
covered.
now?
You're covered.
Okay, I'll start over. I very much want the hotel to move ahead with their project. When finished, it will be a great asset to our city. The one problem the city must face, though, is the parking problem. Back in 1979, the city of Lake Worth knowingly allowed the Gulfstream Hotel to convert 3 hotel buildings into condominiums. The city code stated that for change of use, the hotel must provide parking spaces per unit plus 7 guest spaces. We have 67 units, and they provided 8 parking spaces. People that purchased them were not concerned much because we have peak hour parking on South Gulfview Road. Because of the historic building, the hotel is not required to provide any parking for the original hotel or the restaurant. This will cause extreme shortage of parking. The condominium has 8 spaces. Hudson Holdings has agreed to lease 10 spaces to condo owners. Therefore, the condominium needs 49 additional parking spaces. We feel it's the city's liability and obligation to designate parking on the west side of Gulfview Road from the condominiums and other feasible areas marked as resident only. When this is done, the neighborhood will be more likely to coexist with the hotel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Did you raise your hand first?
I did, thank you. Mary Ann Lizzie, 1529 South Palm Way. I've lived in this city for quite a few years, I'm not going to say how many, but a long time. And I remember going to the Gulfstream many times with my husband, who's passed 6 months ago. It was a phenomenal place to go for lunch, for dinner. I'm actually German, but I was Vice President of the American Finnish Children's Foundation, and we held grand balls there. We brought the President of Finland in to bring children that had cancer. These people were wowed. I mean, we have a city filled with Finns here, and it's important to keep the culture and to keep, I mean, we have 100,000 people coming this weekend with no hotel, except for, I believe the number is 15 rooms. So the people that are against this, I believe, are against Lake Worth. And, thank you. Excuse me?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to continue. I want to see the revenue go to Lake Worth. I don't want to see it go to Delray or Boca or Palm Beach. I want to see it here in Lake Worth. I believe that these people have worked, they've spent a ton of money on this, and truly, if this doesn't pass, I'll be heartbroken. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Lynn Anderson, 2204 Lake Osborne Drive, and I was sworn in earlier. I just want to say that I'm happy to see all the really important dignitaries in here in the room tonight. And Rick Gonzalez, nice to see you. My favorite architect, actually. I'd like to see this hotel open. Everybody in the city wants to see this hotel open. There's nobody against the hotel, okay? Let's make that one straight. And that myth has been circulating around town, even to the press, that there are people that don't want this hotel open. We're desperate for a hotel. We love this hotel, and I've been here since the early 50s as a kid. So I've been around a long time with this hotel, and I want to see it successful, okay? And I think the presentation tonight was very interesting as well. So what we would like to see, however, is to have it at 45 feet. You know, go along with the charter amendment that passed by the voters. And I think that would make everybody happy. You want 10 more feet than what the charter amendment allowed. of 45 feet, so that would be about 17 rooms, and I think you can make a very good and viable hotel by going down to the charter amendment. And I would like you to consider that as you go forward. Thank you.
Next.
Charles Seeley, 15 South Gulfview, number 501.
And you were sworn in.
Pardon me?
You raised,
I was sworn. Number one, the transformer I'd like to see moved over by the cooling tower. I come down the stairs every day right there where there's no consideration given for the people in the Gulfstream condominiums as far as that we live there, and that the convenience that we have to get in and out of our property is going to be jeopardized by this development. The alleyway as it's designed right now with two-way traffic and one-way traffic, and I don't know where the one-way, where they show the property line, it's got two arrows right in the center of our property parking area, is a train wreck. The parking garage, everything unloading on the First Avenue South was not designed for that type of traffic. The other designs or other developers that were there before were saying they would have, with 50 rooms on that second annex, would have 40 cars, peak hours coming and going. There's going to be a tremendous amount more than that with the expansion of the restaurant and the rooftop bar. So the parking garage needs to be designed where it doesn't unload on the First Avenue South. Even if they expand that 5 foot over, the rest of the street will only accommodate one car to go through with parking on both sides. And I'm sure with all the extra employees, they'll be parking all over this area. The colonnade on the east side of the hotel is on city property. I showed Kurt today, or yesterday, that in 1986, the hotel applied for a variance to use that colonnade, put chairs out in front of it. They were issued a 1-year lease. They were to pay rent. They were to provide insurance for people who were hurt on city property. There was a lot of things that were involved in that in 1986. The lease was for 1 year, and it said that after the 1 year was up, that the developer or the hotel at the time had to provide 10 parking places if they renewed the lease for 1 more year because of the extra restaurant chairs. So they're expanding their restaurant, they're providing no parking for the extra chairs, and also no parking for the rooftop. So those things need to be addressed. Am I already still under 2 minutes? See, I've been talking for a while. Yeah.
thank you. And you were sworn in. Thank you.
James Walker, 818 North Gulfview Road. Historic is fine. Decay, on the other hand, is to be discouraged in all cases. And this hotel has been decaying for a number of years. And we now have some investors who want to risk their funds to improve this particular property. In the past, we've had other investors who have come in, but because of the restrictions or the demand by the city or maybe the citizens of the city, nothing has happened. And I don't want to see that happen again. We need to have this hotel redone, and we can work with these people. And from what I've heard, it seems to be a satisfactory plan. Thank you.
Thank you. And you were sworn in.
No, I wasn't.
Would you
I'm
like to
wait.
testify, or do you want to just speak from the?
Speak.
Just speak.
Yes. In furtherance of what Mary Ann said and Mr. Walker had just said, June Evans was talking to me about it today and said, where on earth, with any kind of pride, can we put people to visit this town? That's stuck in my head. I will admit that I did vote in favor of the height restrictions referendum a few years back as well. I was initially against development of the beach, but I had to change my mind based on certain realities. The main one of those is that our city so badly needs investment and revitalization. I feel in this instance that pride goeth before the fall, and I ask anybody, how much longer can we continue to hold on to the idea of our little town that time forgot, at the cost of major problems facing our town in the form of blight and infrastructure failures? Therefore, I am urging everybody to please stop antagonizing investors who come to our town, who come with their magic coin purses and golden checkbooks, who are ready and willing to bring the cash to solve some of the major problems and fix what's needed.
Could you, for the record, introduce yourself and your address, please?
Michael Fox, 1609 North B Street.
Thank you. Anybody else? And you were sworn in?
Yes, I was sworn in. My name is Mary Watson. I'm at 1817 Montague Street. I voted for the charter amendment. I did not realize that it would ever be ignored by my government. I feel cheated of my ability to vote and have honest services representation in my government. I was very disappointed in the city of Lake Worth in that. I didn't expect that to come out of this city. I do think there is a lot to be said for small town character, for neighborhoods, and that is in keeping with pretty much everybody I've spoken with's idea of Lake Worth and why they love it. I talk with people on the beach. They've come here for 20, 30 years, and they come here because they love our beach, they love the natural beauty, and they like the small town character of Lake Worth. I've heard that over and over again, that it's not overdeveloped, like Delray, like all these other places that are just going higher and higher. We're only 7 square miles. Where are you going to go for all this development unless you're going up? You're going to obliterate the breezes. You're going to obliterate the natural beauty that we have, the ability to see our waterfront and to utilize it. That vote happened well before all these developers came in town and should be respected as the voters should. Thank you.
I wasn't sworn in.
Would you like to be sworn in?
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And
I do.
say yes.
Gail Silverblatt, 414 North O Street. I have to say, I expected more on the style of the building. I thought that being as though they were trying to do something that was going to wow us, that it should, and I find the building very plain. I remember I used to go to the hotel for special events, grand openings, and conferences, and it was well used. And I remember the La Scala restaurant that used to be on the corner. It was a modern style. It was rounded corners. It fit in well, and it actually had a lot of style. I find this building on the annex especially not to have any style. I think those of us want the Gulfstream open, and I don't think it's good to have derogatory terms for people that may not be in favor of the height of the annex. But we all want the Gulfstream open. And I think we need to keep saying that over and over again. The driving of the traffic and having the entrance on South Lakeside drives all of the traffic through the neighborhoods. It's going to be bottlenecked down there on the corner of South Lakeside, First Avenue South. And we all know that on the east side of the hotel, it's very hard to turn that corner. Garbage trucks are having a lot of trouble turning that corner, and it was narrowed to slow traffic down on purpose. I'm worried about the fact that they have so many palm trees when we're trying to get residents to actually be a walkable city, and I'd like to know the percentage of shade trees to palm trees that they're proposing. The architect suggests that the colonnade on Lake Avenue will be open to the public, but it can't be because the rooms are opening up onto that. They'll lose all their privacy and they'll lose security. And just one thing on security, I've talked to numerous residents that live in that area that have been broken into, have intruders, have people in their yard, and when they do call the deputies,
The deputies have suggested they buy their own gun. I find this outrageous, and this is true.
Please speak with the.
Yes, I find this outrageous, so I would hope that they would have their own security force, and to protect the residents. Also, I was wondering if the city staff could talk to the fact that this is in the CRA district, and what percentage of the taxes would go into the general revenue fund, and what percentage of taxes will go to the CRA? And will the percentage of taxes into the general revenue fund be able to pay for city services that will be required?
Thank you. Anybody else?
I have not been sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say yes.
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. My name is Rick Gonzalez. I'm the president of REG Architects, 300 Clematis Street. I'm also the vice chairman of the Florida Historical Commission and the past president of the Florida Trust for Historic Preservation. So I do a little bit of historic work around the state of Florida. I just want to share a couple of thoughts and comments. One, I'm now joining the team, working with this team that Steve has put together. I think Florida is very lucky to have Hudson Holdings relocate from Chicago to Florida. They have currently underway over 4 million square feet, over $1 billion of historic buildings that they're doing around the country. We're really fortunate to have them come to Florida, headquartered in Delray, and pursuing projects in Delray, Boynton Beach, Lake Worth, St. Petersburg, and Tallahassee. So I wanted to start with that statement. I also wanted to share that a lot of our cities in Florida are in a renaissance mode right now with historic buildings and historic districts within these buildings. In particular, hotels, converting buildings into hotel use is not a very simple thing to do, and we haven't even spoken about economic sustainability, which is what they're trying to do with the project right now. Yes, it could use a little bit of tweaks here and there, and I'm sure that's going to happen, but I'm hoping to encourage you to vote to move this project forward so that the project can bring back that economic vitality to downtown Lake Worth. There's no hotel in the downtown area. I'll share an example with you. Just this past week, they opened the Hilton in downtown West Palm Beach. And although very modern and very different, I felt very proud that in our main city, we now have a main hotel. Well, the same thing could be said about this hotel in Lake Worth. Lake Worth is known for its charm, for its history, and wouldn't it be great to have a historic hotel of significant character with an annex and the other building, the parking structure, the way it's been set up. So I hope that you'll move forward with this recommendation today. I think they've covered everything pretty well, and we look forward to helping the team make the project even better than it is today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I have not been sworn in at all.
Your right hand, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say yes.
Yes. My name is Tammy. I live at 160 North L, downtown Lake Worth, just off Lucerne.
That would be Tammy Pants.
Tammy Panza. I thought I said that. I'm sorry. I'm a very, very big fan of the Gulfstream, and I'm really happy to see everyone moving in the right direction with this. I have a concern that there is going to be some traffic issues around Bryant Park and the area, and I'd love to see a little bit of special attention to how that traffic pattern is going to work, preserve the parking at Bryant Park for Bryant Park tourists or people who choose to go to Bryant Park and not have the restaurant parking overflowing into the Bryant Park parking area. With that said, I am so pleased to see everybody working together to get this hotel open. I think the height of the annex building, not exceeding the 65 feet height limit, and then only a few feet over what that vote said. Sorry, I'm losing my chain of thought. The fact that they're not going as high as they could, to me, suggests that there is a spirit of compromise, that we want to keep the charm of the city, make it not overbearing and huge, but preserve the small town charm, while still having a hotel that can make a really nice statement downtown and allow tourist walking traffic to visit and stay downtown, appreciate the walking downtown, walk over to the beach, and there's just so many opportunities for it. So in short, please vote for the hotel to open and move forward, and let's try to get this done before we scare off some more investors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Teresa Miller, 829 North Lakeside.
And you were sworn.
Yes, I was. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I actually copied down most of the Palm Beach Post editorial to read into the record, but we'll skip it. But I do want to quote, we are going to be an enormous economic stimulator to the city of Lake Worth. That's from Steve Michael, Hudson Holdings, told to the editorial board. I would have a real problem with anyone arguing with that. Finally, to quote them, "This is one revival we're eager to see," said the Palm Beach Post editorial board. And this is one revival many, many residents are eager to see. Say I and many of my neighbors. We know there are people for whom jobs, economic stability, and dare I say it, economic growth are an anathema. Let's end our race to the bottom. Let's get this project moving. Thank you.
Marty Wellfeld, 829 North Lakeside. No, I'm not sworn, just making comments.
Okay.
You folks are going to be part of Lake Worth history tonight. Depending on which way you vote, it will be a vote towards speeding us down the road of economic progress or putting a blockade in front of it. I sincerely hope that you vote to move this project forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Name and address, and if you were sworn in.
I was sworn in, Roseanne Malacates, 101 South Lakeside Drive, which is on the corner right across from where all this is happening. It's interesting, the whole thing for me, I know the hotel should be finished, is the scale and the amount of density that they're doing. And the number that the hotel people say they need, 120 rooms, 160 rooms, I don't know. If they're really interested and started to make the existing hotel, that's what everybody wants, to fix. And the additional building for the spaces that they need, like conference or a bigger pool off in the side, if they use the other property and work with the rooms in the historic hotel and showed, we spend the whole night talking about new construction. Very little about the hotel. The existing hotel that is the issue. You just want to increase the whole thing. And I love the expression, between a rock and a hard place. That's all it is, that whole square block. You cannot fit in transformers, garbage cans, egress, ingress. The low two-story historical buildings of the Hampshire and the Statler, they are right on that alley. Their back door opens to the alley. They're going to have garbage trucks, delivery trucks, outside their door. And if the more rooms the hotel needs 160. How many does it say? The plans?
174.
174. And you need parking for whatever that's required. And he's promising the people in the Gulfstream condo to give them places. It doesn't fit. None of it fits. It's too much. Fix the hotel. Fix it. And then put all the things you need. A big pool, a nice walk, trees around it. And I would like to give you this because that's my primary objection, is that you're not respecting, when they changed the zoning, you did not respect our vote for the height. And I think that's unbelievable, that you can have an election and not count the vote. So, this is
Something that you want to put into the record.
in the record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? 2 minutes. 2 minutes, please. Or less.
Yes, good evening. Hi, Wes Blackman, 241 Columbia Drive. I've been sworn in. I was up there not long ago, and Aaron was appointed when my vacancy appeared. I didn't prepare remarks tonight. I'm just going to try and wing it here and give you a framework to look at. Think of the optimism back in 1925 for someone to build a 6-story, 7-story building on our waterfront. And soon after that, the 1928 hurricane came, knocked off the top floor, and filled the lobby with sand for 8 years. And the hotel was bankrupt, and no one used it. And it really came into its own during the mid-century when Lake Worth came into its own, and it really was a tourist destination and brought in the traffic from US 1 and sprinkled dollars throughout our downtown. And what we're dealing tonight is with a property that is economically obsolete. And unfortunately, as a historic preservation planner, I've been called in to be the undertaker sometimes for hotels built from this era and before, because circumstances have changed and they do not meet the requirements of the current marketplace. So when you're reviewing this tonight, know that the weight of the world is on your shoulders. And that this is the most prominent building on our waterfront. It's on the National Register for Historic Places, and it really needs to be a functioning part of our community again, socially and economically. And I would say, regarding the plan, I've studied them. There was a lot of finesse put into this plan, particularly with the annex building. And the setback and it being subservient, I think, is important to the historic hotel. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
I'm not been sworn in, but I'm just making a comment. My name is Aileen Buff. I live at 819 North Lakeside Drive. One of the things that I just want to make sure that everyone in this room begins to think through is that, maybe it's just continue to think through, is that it's very easy to go to the heart. Those are my